This is day 13 of 100 days of design. The challenge for today is direct messaging. Direct messaging is also referred to as DM and is a form of private communication between two people on various platforms, particularly social media platforms. It allows users to send message directly to one another without the message being visible publicly. So for today we are going to be using a mobile screen. So I'm going to create a mobile screen by clicking on the frame and select iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm going to rename this frame to direct message. I have a network status bar that I have created earlier in my design. Here is it. So I'm going to use it in this design. So I want to add a layout to this frame. So I'm going to go to layout grid and change it to column. Make it 6 count, 24 margin and 16 pixel gutter. So I'm going to move this network status bar to screen. Now adjust it accordingly. So I want to create a status bar. Here I'm going to use rectangle. Now draw the rectangle like this. So I'll move it down and the size is going to be 80 pixel in height. So I'm going to go to edit mode by double clicking or comes to the icon here. I'll select these two nodes and I'll give it 40 pixel corner radius. Let me move the color here so that it will be accessible. I want to hide the grid. I'm going to press Shift G on the keyboard. So the background color of this thing is a particular white. I'm going to click on it, tap I on the keyboard and select our white color. For this status bar background also, I'm going to change it to our white. Then the whole frame, I'm going to select the whole frame and change the whole frame to our black color, which is this. So the next thing I want to do, I want to create charts. So to create charts, I'm going to use a rectangle. I'll try to enable the grid so that I can see it very clearly. So I'm going to create a rectangle just like this size. Just a little bit. So for the corner radius, I'm going to double click on the rectangle, then apply corner radius to it. Corner radius of 40 pixels, just like this. For this other side here, this corner I'm going to take it to 16 pixels, and the bottom down here, I'm going to create another rectangle. Press I on keyboard to select rectangle. Then I'm going to create a square just like this. I'll go into edit mode and delete one of these. Shift delete to delete. I had to press down shift to delete the node. So if I didn't press the shift, the whole things will be messed up. So I have to press down shift so that the node will be removed and the outline will be closed. So I'm going to move this down here. Now double click to go to edit mode of it and give it 2 pixels of corner radius. So having this, I'm going to select these two and I'll group them, Command G, and I'll change the group from here to a frame. So I want a situation whereby if I stretch this frame, this background here, this one I selected should be responsive to it. So it's already scaled. Whenever I scale this, the scale goes down with it. So that is perfect. And this also, I want a situation whereby it stays to the left. It stays to the down left. This other one. So it also has a scale property, but I'm going to change it from left. I want it to stay to the left. and to also stick to bottom, just like this, so that if I stretch this thing, that one stay to where it's supposed to be. I don't need to be adjusting it. So that is that for the chart stuff. So another thing I want to add to this is time. When users send a chart, they will send the charts at a particular time. So what I'm going to do now is to add time to this thing. I'm going to click on text and I'll write the text here. I'll say, for example, 2 minutes ago, meaning 2 minutes ago. So part of it is cut out because I am typing inside a frame that is clip. So I'm going to remove the clip property, and also I'm going to adjust this. This is 14 pixels. I'm going to change the font type to Lato, and also change this to 12 pixels. And it's not going to be medium, it's going to be a regular. So the height, the line height is 24 pixels. I'm going to delete it so that we have auto line height. Now break it down. So the space between this is 4 pixels. So this is what we have. And again, what I want to have here, I want to have text inside. So I'm going to create a text inside here, just like this. I'm going to run a plugin from my Figma. I have a plugin installed, Lorem. I'm going to run the plugin. So, and I'll say auto generate to fill what I have there. So this text is 12 pixels. I'm going to increase this to 14 pixels. And also I need to delete part of it because this is going to be auto height, and we'll have it centered. So that is that for the first charting. So we could have also the variance of a chart. I'm going to copy this down. I will delete this chart symbol, and the edge here where I give 16 here, I'm going to repeat the same 16 here, just like this, and this serve as inner charting. So we have a last chart for the sender. So this is going to be this, and this will face up. So I'm going to flip this by pressing Shift V on the keyboard, and also everything is being flipped. I'll have to select each of them and flip them back using the same Shift G. So this will come down just like this. The space between this and this, so it's going to be 8 pixels. So this is the first chart. The inner chart will have this structure. I will do this to 8 pixels. The inner chart will have this structure, and the last chart will have this type of layout. So I'm going to combine everything here and give them auto layer. Shift A, auto layer, and the space between them will be 16 pixels. So if this is a sender, so we should have a receiver that is receiving the message. So I'm going to create a path for receiver. So since we have this for the sender, the same thing we're going to have for the receiver, but due to space, I'll assume that the user just sent one of the message, this one. So I'm going to flip this by pressing Shift H on the keyboard, flip horizontally, and each of these need to be flipped also horizontally. Shift H, Shift H. Although there are differentiation between the sender's message and receiver's message, but the differences is not that much or glaring, so we need to like change some things here. So the sender's message, since the sender is the one sending the message, so the sender is going to have from its own side, is going to have a blue background color, just like this. Everything we have which are white are going to be blue, and every black we're having on this are going to be, let me remove this, let me change this to, so every black text we're having here, we're going to change them to white. I selected everything, and I'll press I on keyboard and tap on the color. So for this, our text is just going to be white. This is going to be white. So I'm going to tap I on keyboard and select the color to give it white. And what we have here also, so I'm going to select this and give them white. But the white this time around is going to be 10% opacity. It's going to have 10% opacity, which is this. It's going to come here, align to where the column starts, and this also is going to align to where the column starts here. There's something we're going to do here. I'm going to select these two here and union them together. So we have other thing that I want to do. The space between this is 77. I want to change this to 40 pixels. So I'll move them down, put them in a frame, Alt Command G to put them in a frame, and I want to have a text at the top here, and I'll say today. So the today is going to be 16 pixels, and the font size is going to be medium. It's also white, and the white is going to be 60% opacity. So together with this, I'm going to auto layout them, Shift A. The space between them is 14. I'm going to change that to 16 pixels. Now the next thing I want to create here is status items here. So first of all, I will need a back button. I will need a microphone icon. Let me just copy a microphone icon aside. So I will need a back icon. Let me just search for arrow. All these icons are from the icons that I have already added to my work. So they are component I got from the Figma community. It's icon stars. So when you have it on your Figma, you can also share it with other files on your Figma so that you can be able to access them. So I'm going to copy this arrow left down. I'm going to copy it out. Also, I need an icon of call, so I can be able to call a user. So I'm going to copy this out. I will also need that of video, so I'm going to search video. Let me use this. So I think that's the start. Now again, I will need the one which is back. I'm going to bring it here. It's going to be back, and the color is going to be our black color. Also, I want to have the avatar of the person I'm chatting right here. I'm going to create a rectangle with a size of 32 pixels. So after creating the circles, I'm going to run a plugin called Content Trail. It's one of the plugins I use mostly. So I need an image to add to the avatar. So I'll just go to image, then go to one of these. Let me go to male avatar, and I'll select one of them. So I'll assume this is the person I'm chatting with. So I'm going to auto layout the Shift A, and I'll centralize the auto layout to be center just like this. So I need the name here. I'm going to copy this text out. I'll hold down my Shift and Alt on the keyboard and drag it here. So I'll need to change the color so that I can see it very clearly. So the size is not going to be 16. I'll make it 20, and I'll call this a name of the person I'm chatting with. Let me say Salman Khan. Salman Khan is one of the Indian actors I cherish most. So Shift A to auto layout, and I'm going to reduce the space between the this auto layout and the name I just wrote. So the space between them is 19. I'm going to reduce that to 8 pixels. And I also need an icon here for calling. So I'm going to create a background for that icon using an ellipse. The ellipse is going to be 32 pixels. And I'll bring my icon right inside here. So for this icon, I'm going to reduce this to 20 pixels. centralize both vertical and horizontal center, and I'll put two of them in a frame, selecting the two and pressing Alt Command G to put them in a frame. So the background we are having here, I'm going to change the color of background to our blue, and also the icon we are having, I will go to color selection here, click on the color and select our white color. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to align their frame to this edge here, and also this is going to be aligned here like this, and two of them will now have an auto layout Shift A so that they are vertically aligned. So the next thing I want to do is to create the message text area. So I'm going to use a frame here. The frame is going to be 40 pixels of height. I'm going to reduce this just like this. So I want to give it an outline, so I'll come to the stroke, add a stroke to it, and I'll change the stroke to our white color like this, and it's going to have a round corner. I'm going to give it 40 pixels so that I have a round corner. So doing that, I will need the picture here, the picture of the sender, someone who is sending the message, and the picture is going to be 32 pixels. And I'll make sure the space is maintained here, and I'll add a picture using the same plugin I used earlier. So I want to add a picture. I'm using content reel, so I want to select, let's say this is me. So I'll need a text holder here, a placeholder. So I'll say type message, and this is not going to be 20, it's going to be 14 pixels. Make sure it's vertically centered with this. So I'm going to give them auto layout to combine them. The space between them is 10 pixels. I'm going to take it to 12, and also the white here is complete white. We need to change it to our white. Tap on I on keyboard, then select the white color. Now reduce this to 60. Also the outline we are having here will be reduced to 60. I need one more icon for file uploading, so I'll go here and I'll search attach. Should be attach. Okay, here we have it. So I'm going to copy one of these out. Let me use this. So by default they are 24 pixels. I'm going to reduce them to 20 pixels. So I want to have these two. Shift A, auto layout, and our auto layout should be horizontal, and this should come first. So I'm going to move this here. So they're going to be, their color is going to be our white color, and we are reducing them to 70% opacity. And again, the space between them, we're going to take them down to 24 pixels, and this comes here. So user may want to send an audio message, so we're going to have an audio something here, but this audio is going to be a button just like what we have here. I'm going to copy this, Command C, and put it here, Command V. Then I'm going to change this. The icon I'm using is icon SAS. If you go to Figma community, you find it there. You can add it to your file also. It has variants of icons. So I want to change one of these. We have each of the icon there has 6 variants. So I want to change this to bold. I'm going to call this Command X and put it here, Shift Command R. And this is not going to be this color. We'll have to change the color of the icon to our white. I'm going to color selection, click on the color dropper and select our white. Now we'll bring this here. So this is going to be aligned to where the column starts, and this also will be aligned to this place. So I'm going to select the two of them and give them auto layout shift A, and it should be center. I want to move them upward a little bit. So this is chat screen. Another thing that is very important is the users who you are chatting with. So I'm going to copy this screen just like this and delete the content I have inside this one. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this also. So the name we're having here is not going to be that color but our white color, just like this. And the space between this auto layout is 8. I want to take it to 12 pixels. Here we want to have list of users that I have sent DM to. So I'm going to increase this. I'm going to increase this from 32 pixels to 40 pixels with name. So we have this name here. I want to remove the frame I have here. I'm going to press Shift Command G to remove it. So here what I want to have, this is not going to be 20 pixels, but it's going to be 16 pixels. So what I want to have here is the name of the person and the last message that I chat with the person. So the last message is going to be 14 pixels, and it's not going to be medium, it's going to be regular. And the color here is not going to be 100%, but it's going to be 60%. This also, this is going to be something around 80%. So we have the name and the last message that I chat with the person. So I'm going to add the last message here now. So I'm going to use the lorem ipsum plugin, and I'll say auto generate. So this is the name, this is the last chat that I had with him. So another thing that I want to have here is the number of message that I have with a person. So I'm going to create a circle here. The circle is going to be 18 pixels, and I want to have a text inside. I'm going to create a text and call and say to, just like this. I'm going to put it here. So this is going to be our blue, the background is going to be our blue, while the text is going to be our white. The size of the text is going to be 12, so that it sits perfectly inside the circle. I'll select the two and give them a frame. So they are in a frame like that. That's the number of messages I have never read from this guy is 2. And also I want to add the last time I chatted with him, which is going to be here. So I'm going to copy the time I have here and bring it down here. So this is going to be, for example, here we can have yesterday. It's going to be 0. So I want to lay out the shift A so that it's the space between them is 4 pixels. That is okay. And this text is regular already, and I'm going to reduce it to 60% opacity. So I have this and I have this now. So this I'm going to give it to layout shift A together with this shift A. Now together with this shift A. So everything is in auto layout. So what I would like to do is to create other users from here. I'm going to hold down my shift and alt, then drag this down a little bit, then press Ctrl D to repeat the process. I think this is okay like this. So I'm going to select all of them and give them auto layout, and the space between them is not going to be 17, it's going to be 24 pixels between them. So I also need this here, Command C. Now bring it here, Command V, to paste the same position as what we have. And I'm going to copy this, Command C, Command V, and I'll bring this down here, and I'll say charts. I need to copy this also, Command C, paste this here. Auto layout, Shift A. So the space between them is 8. So what do you have between these two? That's 10. So I'm going to increase this to 16 pixels. And this is okay, this is fine. So I want to have an icon right here, the search icon. But instead of having just the search icon, I also want to have the search input itself. So what I'm going to do now is to add a frame here. The frame is going to come here. The height is 32 pixels. So I'm going to give it a stroke, and the stroke is going to be our black color, and it's going to be 10% opacity, and it's also going to be a rounded corner just like this. Now I'm going to my asset and search for search. So I have search icon, different search icon from icon stack. So I'm going to pick one of them and put it inside this frame. So now I'll reduce this to 20 pixel of height and width. And also the color, I'll go to color selection and make sure the color is a black color, and I will reduce it to 20% opacity. So I'll try to hide the columns by pressing Shift G on keyboard. This is hidden. If this is not that glaring, we can increase the opacity from 10 to say 30, and this also from 20 to 40. So from here, user can chat. They can also search people they've chatted before. So I'm going to auto layout the Shift A so that to make sure they are vertically and horizontally aligned. So in this, I'm going to move this upward a little bit. The space between them, 64 pixels, is okay. Now what I want to do is to change the names of these people here. So they are all not going to be Salman Khan. So I'm going to select all the name and run the plugin content tree. So running the plugin, I'll just go to text here and I'll select full name. So and I'll say apply all. So it is going to generate full name for each of them. Also, but I can keep these messages. I can keep these messages, or if I like, I can still change them. And this, since this is an auto layout, I can remove one of these here. I can remove one of these. Let's say, for example, this. I don't have any message from this one, and this I have. So I'm going to remove this auto layout like this, so that this sits exactly to this right side, and also the text should be right aligned. So I want to edit this now so that it starts from the right. So instead of yesterday, I want to have 13th May 23, just like that. So that's the last time I had message with this person. So I want to move this down so that others will be at the top. Also, I want to change the pictures I have this on this. They're all not going to have same picture. I'm going to select all the picture I have here, and I'll run the plugin content trail again, and I'll go to image. So I'll go to avatar, code. So now I'll click apply all, so it will change all the pictures that I have there. So from here, we'll assume user has their chat here. When you tap on chat, it comes to this other screen, so you can continue chatting with the user. So this is the end of today's exercise. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any problem with what I'm doing, please just comment and I'll make sure I adjust to your complaint. Thanks for your time.